A federal judge has now found Donald Trump liable for defaming the writer E. Jean Carroll by denying in 2019 that he had raped her, and said the jurors will decide only how much the former U.S. president should pay in damages. Now, the decision by U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan in Manhattan comes just ahead of a scheduled January 15, 2024 civil trial after a jury in May ordered Donald Trump to pay Carroll $5 million for sexual assault and a separate defamation. Carroll has argued that Trump's first defamation caused her more harm, including to her reputation, than his second. Roberta Kaplan, a lawyer for Carroll, says that she looks forward to the scheduled 15 January 2024 trial, and Trump has now claimed he had never met Carroll and that she made up the attack to boost sales for her memoir. The judge also rejected Trump's claim that earlier verdict means any damages should be reduced because Carroll should not recover twice. The case is also among many legal problems that Donald Trump now faces as he runs again for the White House. These also include 4 separate criminal indictments, including 2 for attempting to reverse his 2020 election loss. Trump has also pleaded not guilty in all 4 cases. Despite the charges, Trump has a dominating lead for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Let's also listen in to what the Republican frontrunner has to say.
I didn't have to reach out to anybody because it didn't happen. And by the way, if it did happen, it would have been reported within minutes. Talking about going to a major floor, probably, I assume, the most important floor, a major floor in a major department store. That's a very busy store, by the way. And checkout counters and everything else. And I would be in there. I mean, it's the most ridiculous, disgusting story. It was just made up.
All right, Ray Locker, who's an author and journalist from the United States, joins me live. Many thanks to you, Ray, for joining in. Does this ruling now only raise the basic sole concern about how much more will Donald Trump be paying to Jean Carroll in the upcoming civil trial of January?
There is how much he'll pay. My guess is if he pays anything, it's going to be a long time coming. He is going to drag this out as long as possible. I'm not sure if she's in it for the money, if she wants to do it to straighten out the record or whatever, but I think the money is probably the last thing that's going to happen in this case.
What do you make of what Jean Carroll had to say? She says that the second defamation case is nothing compared to the first one. She talks about the allegations coming from Donald Trump during the first one.
Well, I mean, he lost that case, and then he's supposed to not talk about it, and pretty much immediately out of the box, he's sullying her reputation again. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to sue you again. That's what Donald Trump does. I mean, he's pretty much a disgusting person. Regardless of the merits of her accusation, I mean, he just should have kept his mouth shut, and he didn't. And he just compounded his legal problems over, as he's done in virtually every instance we've talked about.
Absolutely. Also, as the early frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, how crucial is it going to be for Trump to seek delaying of the second trial now? Because reports are indicating that that is something he wants.
He doesn't want to be in a court anytime before November of next year. I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, he has a commanding lead in the Republican polls right now, but this stuff is taking an effect. People are noticing it. You see comments from focus groups where people say, oh, I like Trump, but there's just too much drama. And so when somebody emerges as an alternative, which has not really happened yet, I think you're going to see some movement to that.
Right, and as you're saying that there is movement that's taking place, you know, there's also a certain ecosystem, not just in India, but also abroad, which believes that Trump will get away with all those legal woes. How do you counter that belief that Trump will finally get away? Because there's always that argument that, yes, he can still run for presidency while behind bars.
Well, he's not going to. be the nominee behind bars, and he's not going to get and if he is, by some stroke of luck, he's not going to be president from behind bars. I mean, this is a person who is not universally popular. People in his own party say he's the most unpopular candidate out there. Notwithstanding President Biden's weaknesses, primarily because of his age and concerns about the economy, he's the worst candidate out there. And so all this stuff is catching up to him, whether he's actually behind bars or not. He's probably may never go behind bars, and which is what some people want, but he's not going to get elected president again.
And where does that leave all of the Republican race then? Remember, you and I were debating over Ramaswamy some days ago. How do you see the Republican primary race now shaping up, if that is the case, going by what you just said?
I don't see somebody, emerging right now as a Trump alternative. They had that first debate on August 23rd, and that was the first initial shakeout, what you see. And some people did well and some people didn't. I certainly don't think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be the nominee. I think he's had his moment, because basically nothing he says makes sense, even though he's very convinced by his own logic. He's not swaying that many people. Nikki Haley did well in that debate. Ron DeSantis did okay in that debate, as well as Mike Pence, the former vice president. None of them has captured the imagination, however, of the Republican primary electorate. I think we're going to need to see some more debates over the next few months, and some more movement, and some more advertising to get a better sense of what's going to happen.
All right, Ray, let's leave it at that for now. I'm sure there'll be more traction on this case when January 15 arrives. Having said that, many thanks to you for joining in on News 18 Global.